Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching another video. Today we're going to compare the Taurus G3C against the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. And if you haven't had a chance to see the video comparisons I did with the Taurus G3C and the Sig P365XL, I'll leave a link for it right up here. But today is all about the Taurus and the Smith & Wesson. Now, you would think there's a huge price difference between these two, but they're pretty similar. Taurus coming in at right around $400, and the Shield Plus anywhere between $450 and $500. So really only a $50 difference between these two. And I gotta tell you, just by gripping onto these, this feels like you're grabbing onto like a samurai sword. Well, this might be like a butter knife. Let's have a closer look. Let's start off by looking at the sights that come with these two pistols. So the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, just a simple 3-dot setup, right? You got two in the rear, one in the front. These are not night sights, so they don't glow at all. The front sight is driftable. Just be careful. You don't really want to mess around with this rear sight. But what I want to point out back here, not optics ready. So it costs $50 more, but you don't pick up that optics ready capability. Now, they do have a performance center version. It's got a little bit longer barrel length, by about an inch, I think. Fiber optic front, and it is optics ready, but that costs more money. And that's why I think the Taurus is a better value, because it is optics ready. And they give you these 4 adapter plates that will fit just about any micro red dot out there. So great flexibility, great value. And the Taurus has very simple sights that come with it. It's just a black dot rear with a squared off U-notch and a white dot in the front. The big thing about these is that they're Glock compatible. So if you're a Glock guy and you got some extra sights lying around, you just get your drift tool, punch it out, and you're set to go. So you can get taller sights for co-witnessing. You can get night sights. Huge market out there for sights. So I would say advantage Taurus. All right, let's have a look at the slides from the top view here, and I just want to show you just how slick and slender the Smith looks compared to the Taurus. I mean, it looks a little bit deceiving because the Smith has a little bit of milling here, round milling on the slide, but man, that is some slickness for the Smith & Wesson, and that's why I'm telling you guys, this feels like a samurai sword when you're grabbing onto it. So let me go sight to sight and see just how much longer one is than the other. Maybe the Taurus is a smidge longer in length, but man, look at the thickness difference on those slides. That Smith, I'm telling you. Both of these pistols have front and rear cocking serrations, and the Taurus feels pretty good. Now you would think that Taurus right there with just those 3 little itty bitty cocking serrations in the front isn't very good. Maybe hard to find, but once you get in there, at least it gives you good grip on there. Those are really deep. As compared to the Smith, great scalloping in the back. This really works against the grit of your finger. Really nice. But look at the front. You know, on both sides, just so little there. Now, I don't do press checks, but for you guys out there, if this is a big thing, with the finish that's on here, it's very slippery. Very durable, but still very slippery. You can't really pull it back. So, I don't know. Advantage maybe Taurus. And since we're in the front here, let's have a look at the beveling right along the muzzle. And this is a fairly recent thing. Most pistols have them now, so when you're holstering, it doesn't snag on anything. So nice job there on the beveling. And you notice the absence of an accessory rail there. So that could be a problem for you flashlight freaks out there. And then on the Taurus, beveling as well. So both have beveling right up here in the muzzle. And pretty decent size accessory rail on the Taurus. And we got a nice thick trigger guard. Not a lot of space in here, but a nice curvature right here on the front for those that like to sneak your index finger right around and grip it like that. And of course, a little bit of an undercut in here, so your middle finger has a little bit more space for the grip. Now the Taurus, thinner trigger guard, which I kind of like the way that looks. A little bit smaller this way, but a nice bigger undercut in here. And this grip is really comfortable. Let me see if I can show you the difference between the trigger guard thickness in there. You can just see it. Look at that. It's like a chunky monkey. But I guess that's why this feels like a slicker gun. It's just less chunky. Look at the size difference between those two. Now, as far as controls go, the Taurus does have a thumb safety that's very easy to use. The version of the Shield Plus I have doesn't have the thumb safety, but it is available. And they both do a really good job in having it sit very flush to the frame, as we're going to see here. I just want to point out one thing, though. You can see that there's a little bit of gap in between here, which is needed, but it just doesn't look as neat and tight as the Smith & Wesson, as we're going to see in a little bit. But you can see it sits very close, very flush to the frame. It's not going to bother you at all there. But again, just pointing out the gap in here. You can see the light coming through there. Here's a look at the Smith. Without that thumb safety, just beautiful lines on this thing. So nice. Again, I'm going to turn it this way. You can see just how tight everything fits in here. If I flip it over, you can see kind of a little bit of gap in the takedown lever right here. But unavoidable. But man, look how nice and clean that Smith looks. That is just perfection. And speaking of looks, let's have a closer look at these magazine release buttons on here. Just to give you a close-up. Love the way that fits in there. And both of these, I have absolutely no trouble in kicking out that magazine. So here's a quick look. Right, there's my grip. Punch out. I don't really have to drop my grip or move my hand around. It's very easy just to punch it out. So I like the way this looks a little bit more so than the Taurus. A closer look at the Taurus there. A little bit small, but still very effective. Again, for those that don't know, when you press on that side of the magazine release, it pushes out on this side. So if your finger is blocking it, it's very difficult to drop that magazine with one hand. But with either of these, no issues. But I do like the way that Smith looks. Ooh, look at that. All right, now as far as grip angle goes, both of these are pretty similar. Let me get the Taurus in here so you can see it. So pretty similar in grip angle. All right, but what sets the Smith apart is, interestingly enough, how wide it is here and how thin it is. Okay, so if you notice, I don't know, this would be hard to see. It's a wider grip here and a thinner grip here on the left. And for me, it's a combination of things when you get your hands in here. Number one, of course, it's a little bit wider, so when it really lets you clamp down on it. You have a nice deep tang in here, so the web of your hand goes really deep in there, and it's supported back here to really help you control that muzzle rise. A beautiful palm swell that fits really comfortably into the fatty portion of your hand, and this cutout trigger guard is just a little bit deeper than on the Taurus. So when you're shooting this, man, the control that you get with the support from back here in the tang area and how comfortable this grip texture is compared to the Taurus, I really think this is a better grip for most people, well, for me at least. And I have pretty small hands, but I enjoy this larger grip. Now on the Taurus, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this tang here is not as deep. And it just, like, my hand just wants to go in further, but there's just not enough cutout here for that. And this texture is really aggressive, guys. Check how aggressive that is. Here, give me 2 seconds. Okay, you can just kind of see how it's kind of chewed out my fingernail in there. But, you know, it's grippy. It's nice. And the cutout isn't as deep, so it's definitely not as comfortable. And when shooting, I don't feel like I get, like, it's not high enough and deep enough for that grip. So I'd have to say that the Smith & Wesson has the better grip in there. Let me give you guys another quick look at the difference in here. So there is the difference in the thinness. Man, that's Smith & Wesson. And it's going to be very difficult to see how thick it is here, but that Smith has a thicker, wider grip going this way. Oh, man, that Smith, good grip. All right, the Taurus does come with 3 12-round magazines out of the box. Smith & Wesson, you get one 10-round magazine and one 13-round magazine, and they cost anywhere between $30 to $35 a piece. So advantage, I would say, goes to the Taurus. Okay, weight-wise, Smith & Wesson with a 13-round magazine coming in at 1 pound, 4.8 ounces. Taurus, I know, is going to be heavier. Let's see, that's coming in 1 pound, 6.1 ounces. So advantage, Smith & Wesson. All right, let's get into these triggers. The Taurus does have double strike capabilities. So the way you're going to use this is, let's say you squeeze off your trigger, nothing happens. You can pound it again. Maybe you can get that primer to go off. Now, some people are going to absolutely hate this. Some people are going to love it. But it's a capability that the Taurus has that the Smith doesn't. All right, as far as Taurus striker fire triggers goes, this is probably one of the best ones I've had the pleasure of shooting. So both of these have the safety in the trigger here. So again, if you're not familiar, this won't be able to pull unless you get your finger right on there, and that releases it that way. So here's a look at the trigger behavior. Okay, there's a lot of take up. There's so much take up here, but it is very smooth. And once it hits the wall, I mean, there's not much left back there, but once it gets there, check this out. There's no creep in there. I'm really going to try to go slow here. No creep. It just wants to break, okay? Here's the reset. I mean, it doesn't really have far to reset. Right there. Again, back on it. No creep, okay? One more look at that. Okay, boom, wall. Squeeze. Okay, here's a look at the reset. Very short reset. And no creep there. Not bad, Taurus. Let's have a look at the shield. Alright, so traditionally I've always really hated the hinged triggers on Smith & Wesson products like the M&Ps, but this trigger is magical. Okay, there's a look at the safety that's on the trigger. Alright, here we go. There it is right there. Okay, there's your wall. I'm going to really try to creep it. Man, that's great. Okay, here's a look at the reset. It's almost 90 degrees right there. Okay, here I'm going to really try to get a little bit of creep there. Man, that's good stuff. Okay, again, take up. Oh, didn't get any creep on that one. Okay, here's a reset. Maybe I can get it to creep again. Okay, ooh, no, nothing there. Let's do one more. I just want to see if I can get a little bit more trigger creep in here. Okay, here's a wall. A little bit there. Difficult. But man, to me, both really good triggers. It would be hard for me to say, maybe because the take up is so, oh my God, that must be like almost a half an inch to a, 3/4 of an inch take up on that. I don't even know. There it is right there. Maybe I give the edge to the shield. Man, that's a lot of take up. Yeah, I'll give the definite advantage to the Smith & Wesson shield. All right, let's weigh these triggers here. Here's the first trigger pull on the Taurus. 5 pounds, 10 ounces. Okay, let's reset that. We'll do 3. Okay. And 5 pounds, 14.5 ounces. All right, last pull, Taurus G3C. Did I clear that? Okay, that's ready. And that's coming in at 5 pounds, 9 ounces. All right, let's have a look at the shield. All right, here we go. First trigger pull, Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. That's coming in. Ooh, look at that. 4 pounds, 11.5 ounces. It felt it too. There's a big difference in how much effort you put into making it break. Definite difference there. Okay, second pull. And 4 pounds, 11.9 ounces. Okay, here's the last pull. Okay, coming in 4 pounds, 12.7 ounces. That is a nice trigger, guys. All right, guys, so what are we thinking over here? We got a great budget option from Taurus, just about $400. You get 3 12-round magazines. It's optics ready. The trigger's pretty decent. You have an accessory rail for those of you who like to put flashlights on it versus $50 more for just an incredible pistol. Thin, easy to shoot. Man, does that look beautiful. But it is $50 more for one less magazine, no accessory rail, and not optics ready. I got to tell you, for me, I would probably spend the extra $50 and go with the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. And maybe if I wanted to go with the optics ready, I may go with a little bit longer barrel length and optics ready with the Performance Center version. But I would take it just like this over the Taurus. But there's no doubt that the Taurus is the better value. Guys, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.